Hey everyone, welcome back to Anatomy Made Easy. We've already explored the bones of the upper limb and the lower limb, so today we'll be moving a step further to understand the anatomical areas of the upper limb. These are the regions that guide us in locating muscles, vessels, and clinical landmarks. Let's dive right in. We'll be dealing with the axilla, the cubital fossa, the carpal tunnel, the anatomical snuffbox, and the extensor tendon compartment of the wrist. So starting with the axilla is a pyramidal shaped area that allows for the passage of neurovascular and muscular structures, e.g. the brachial plexus and the axillary vein, to enter and leave the upper limb. Note that the nerves of the upper limb arise from a complex arrangement of nerve fibers called the brachial plexus. So back to our axilla, it is located just beneath the glenohumeral joint at the junction between the upper limb and the thorax. It has different sides, which includes the apex, the lateral wall, the medial wall, the anterior wall, and the posterior wall. The anterior wall contains the pectoralis major, the underlying pectoralis minor, and the subclavius muscles. The posterior wall is formed by the subscapularis, the teres major, and the latissimus dorsi. The medial wall consists of the serratus anterior and the thoracic wall, which consists of the ribs and the intercostal muscles. Also take note that the size and shape of the axilla region varies with arm abduction. Moving on to the contents of the axilla region, number 1 is the axillary artery and branches. This is the main artery supplying the upper limb. It has 3 parts, one posterior to the pectoralis major, one lateral to the pectoralis minor, and one medial to the pectoralis minor. So it is the medial and the posterior parts that travel in the axilla. Number 2 is the axillary vein and tributaries. This is the main vein draining the upper limb. It has 2 largest tributaries, which are the cephalic and the basilic vein. Number 3 is the brachial plexus and the branches. This is a collection of spinal nerves that form the peripheral nerves of the upper limb. Number 4 is the axillary lymph nodes. They filter the lymphatic fluid that has drained from the upper limb and the pectoral region. Number 5 is the biceps brachii and the coracobrachialis. These muscle tendons move through the axilla where they attach to the coracoid process of the scapula. The cubital fossa. This is a triangular-shaped area, often described as a depression on the anterior aspect of the elbow joint. It consists of 3 borders, the lateral, the medial, and the superior borders, together with a roof and a floor. The cubital fossa serves as a passageway for structures to pass between the upper arm and the forearm. The contents of the cubital fossa are arranged from lateral to medial. Number 1 is the radial nerve, which travels along the lateral border of the cubital fossa and divides into deep and superficial branches. Number 2 is the biceps tendons. It passes centrally through the cubital fossa and attaches the radial tuberosity. Number 3 is the brachial artery. It bifurcates into the radial and the ulnar arteries at the apex of the cubital fossa. The brachial pulse can be felt in the cubital fossa by palpating medial to the biceps tendon. The last content is the median nerve. It travels medially through the cubital fossa, exiting by passing between the 2 heads of the pronator teres. A mnemonic for the contents of the cubital fossa from the median nerve to the radial nerve is Mr. Brown bites rabbits. I repeat, Mr. Brown bites rabbits. M for median nerve, B for brachial artery, B again for biceps tendons, and R for radial nerve. The next anatomical area that we'll be talking about is the carpal tunnel. The carpal tunnel is a pathway on the anterior portion of the wrist. It serves as the entrance for several tendons and medial nerve into the palm. The floor of the carpal tunnel is formed by a deep carpal arch, while the roof is formed by a superficial flexor retinaculum. The deep carpal arch is formed laterally by the scaphoid and the trapezium tubercles and formed medially by the hook of the armate and the pisiform. Scaphoid, trapezium, armate and pisiform earlier mentioned are carpal bones, and it has been mentioned in one of my previous videos. So, talking about the flexor retinaculum, which forms the roof of the carpal tunnel. It is a thick connective tissue and it spans between the armate and the pisiform medially and to the scaphoid and trapezium laterally. The carpal tunnel contains a total of 9 tendons and the medial nerve. The tendons are 1 flexor pollicis longus, 4 flexor digitorum profundus, and 4 flexor digitorum superficialis. The 8 tendons of the flexor digitorum profundus and the flexor digitorum superficialis are surrounded by a single synovial sheath, while the tendon of the flexor pollicis longus is surrounded by its own synovial sheath. The sheath allows for free movement of the tendons. Moving on to the anatomical snuffbox. It is also known as the radial fossa. It is another area that can be described as a triangular depression located on the lateral aspect on the back of the palm. It is located at the level of the carpal bones and best seen when the thumb is extended. It is best seen when the thumb is extended. The main content of the anatomical snuffbox are the radial artery, the cephalic vein, and a branch of the radial nerve. Moving on to the extensor tendon compartment of the wrist. There are a series of 6 tunnels that allows for the passage of long extensor tendons from the forearm through the wrist into the hand. They are located on the posterior aspect of the wrist. Each tunnel is lined internally by a synovium sheath and are separated from each other by a fibrous septum. The first extensor compartment is located on the internal aspect of the wrist. It transmits 2 tendons named the extensor pollicis brevis and the abductor pollicis longus. The tendons form the lateral border of the anatomical snuffbox. Compartment 2 contains the tendons of the extensor carpi radialis longus and the extensor carpi radialis brevis. The second compartment is separated from the third compartment by Lister's tubercle. What is Lister's tubercle? The Lister's tubercle is a bony prominence of the distal aspect of the radius. Simple. Compartment 3 conducts the extensor pollicis longus tendon. Thus form the medial border of the anatomical snuffbox. To compartment 4, it transmits the tendons of the extensor digitorum and the extensor indicis. Compartment 5 contains the extensor digiti minimi tendon, which travels into the little finger. Compartment 6 is located on the medial aspect of the wrist. It conducts the tendons of the extensor carpi ulnaris. And that's it for the anatomical areas of the upper limb for today. Now, whenever you look at the arm, you know exactly which region you are dealing with. Keep revising, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next class. Thanks for watching.